with sickle cell disease has not been an easy condition for carriers. It involves managing chronic pain, frequent hospital visits, and coping with the emotional and physical toll on both patients and their families, as explained by medical practitioners. The journey requires resilience, access to effective medical care, and support from the community they live in to navigate the many challenges that comes with this lifelong condition. In today's program, we will focus on a critical health topic, living with sickle cell disease. This is a hereditary blood disorder that affects millions of Nigerians, imposing significant challenges on individuals and families. Our discussion will explore the realities of life with this condition, highlighting the latest medical advancements, personal stories, and the efforts being made to provide better care and support. We have a medical doctor and a strong lady living with the condition in our studio to shed light on these important issues and work towards a future where those affected by sickle cell disease lead healthier and more fulfilling lives. This is Nigeria Today, and I'm Eukaria Clinton. Thanks for joining us. Now, joining us in the studio to discuss living with sickle cell disease is Eyum Sandra Audu. She is the president and founder Eyum Sickle Cell Anemia Foundation, SCAF. She's also, living with the condition. You're welcome to Nigeria Today.
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah.
Also in the studio with us is Dr. Uderika Obi-William, a medical doctor. You're welcome to Nigeria Today.
Thank you for having me in this great platform.
Now, I'll start with you, Sandra. I understand you've been living with this condition. Now, tell us, what has been your journey and, what has it been like living with the sickle cell disease?
Actually, living with sickle cell anemia has not been an easy journey. Yes, I'm not going to be a bit light on this. Yes, it has not been an easy journey. So let me talk about myself. The first time I found out I had sickle cell was when I was 14 years. Because when I was younger, I used to fall ill, maybe if I'm under the rain, if I'm stressed, if there's a mosquito bite. So that was when the doctor took time to explain things to me. So from that age of 14, I became aware of myself and of the condition. So my journey through secondary school, yes, sometimes you fall sick because sometimes when you fall sick, you might not be able to meet up with your academic, but by the grace of God, I was able to meet up. Then because I had a very good support system, God, my family, friends, and then my loved ones. But that notwithstanding, I also had some terrible experiences in life. So I think I should start from when I was in secondary school.
I think you talked to us about those experiences shortly, but we'll just rest it here so that Dr. B will tell us a little bit about this disease. We'll come back to you.
All right.
Now, Dr. B, tell us, the sickle cell, of course, she has said living with it is not an easy thing. Over the years, she's had her own bit of challenges. So talk to us about this disease. What is it about?
Well, in a nutshell, sickle cell is an inherited lifelong disease that affects the red blood cells, the shape of the red blood cells that are responsible for carrying oxygen around the body. So what it does is, ideally, your red blood cells have a shape we say, let's say biconcave, let's say roughly a donut shape. It helps it move around the body easily. But in sickle cell, it affects this shape such that it has a sickled shape, hence the name. A sickle shape would be, let's say, like a banana or a C. So what it does is that mobility the red cell has to move around the body is impaired. So you find that the blood cells don't move appropriately, they block vessels, And from this blockage, they start having most of the symptoms they present
So
with.
how does it affect the human body?
Well, it's multi-systemic, really. The first underlying issue is because of the abnormal shape, they are quite fragile, the blood cells, so they break down. So they have what we call anemia, that is low blood. So that's also ingrained in the name, sickle cell anemia. So generally you find out that their blood levels are a little bit lower than the average person's blood level. Secondly, what it does too is it kind of make them prone to, it makes the red blood cell less prone to withstand stress. And the common stressors they have in Nigeria is malaria. Let's remember, malaria predominantly lives in the red blood cell and reproduces in it, so it targets them. And like they keep saying, malaria is with us in Nigeria. So the fact that they're in Nigeria, they're always stressed, you know. So these red blood cells, or these blood cells, are always stressed by malaria. So it makes the cells sickle, so they have lots of pain. It can cause deformities in the limbs. They have other complications, like one that we really don't talk much about is the psychological aspect that they tend to face, you know. Some of them get to find out quite early that they are suffering from this disease. They can't go to school, they can't play with their friends, or they are restricted on how to play. So it really gives them this feeling of why am I so different, you know? And the painful crisis they have is quite painful. It's really, can really get bad, you know, and it's really sad sometimes. So they do have quite a lot of complications, generally because of this loss of blood flow to major organs, and generally it can reduce their lifespan, really.
Okay. Now back to you, Sandra. You were about telling us about some of the challenges you face. Now talk to us about this, maybe the stigma and the rest of them, and tell us how you were able to manage these challenges.
Okay. It has actually not been an easy life because the stigma, I think the stigma is more because a lot of people don't really understand what the sickle cell is about. So the stigma in it has not been easy. It has not been an easy journey. So people see the sickle cell, or let's say the condition in quotes, before they see you, before they see your ability, before they give you that chance. So a lot of sickle cell patients, they lack self-confidence, and it's actually because of the society. So let me give you some experiences I've had in life. Okay, in secondary school, I used to fall sick. Sometimes I'm in school, sometimes I'm not in school, you know. Somebody will just say, you're always falling sick. So I had a friend in secondary school then. She suddenly stopped talking to me. So after a while I met her, I said, why are you not talking to me? What's happening? That her mommy said she should not play with me because if she plays with me, if she pushes me, I might fall and something will happen. Yeah, they say sickle cell patients are fragile, yes, but we are normal human beings. I've been living a normal life. As long as you do the proper things. Like, okay, me personally, I don't play with my diet. I don't play with my environment. Like when it comes to environmental sanitation and all that, I don't play with it because infection is also a trigger of sickle cell.
So tell us some of these things that you do that enable you to lead a normal life. Like you talked about your diet. What are some of them, the practical?
Okay. I try to stay very hydrated first.
Drink enough water.
Enough water. So I take about 4 liters of water in a day. Yeah, because this blood cell is sickled. So but by the time you're taking this water, at least it pushes it a bit, and because the oxygen level is low, then I take a lot of fruits, I take a lot of vegetables, then I take a lot of proteins, then I avoid very high carbohydrates. Yeah, I avoid fried foods. Then when it comes to herbs and teas, I do turmeric tea, turmeric, ginger, and garlic. It has really helped me so much in managing pains and sickle cell. Then I also pay good attention to my diet because of the anemia. because when your blood level is already not at the normal level, so when it comes down, it could cause crisis. So that's where the joint pains and everything come up. So that's actually how it works. So let me continue with my life story, please. Advancing into my workplace, I've been able to finish school. Yes, I'm a graduate. Yeah, I've done my master's. I'm working in a government parastatal. Then I have a foundation. Let me share a little experience in my office.
But before you go into your experience in your office, let's hear Doctor. Now, having heard what Sandra has to say, now talking about latest advancement in treatment, how far have we gone in Nigeria? Talking about, technology, treatment and management of the condition.
Personally, from my experience, I would say I think we are actually doing quite a bit well, especially in the major cities. And why I would say that is generally in terms of multidisciplinary approach, in the terms of the medical field itself, you find out that doctors are more knowledgeable about sickle cell. They tend to work more as a team. We have better equipment, usually in major hospitals, to be able to detect the complications early. Better medications in terms of helping them cope with the pain. The only challenge I would say is probably in creating awareness or in helping them, access care easily. But if one is fortunate to go to the right place and meet the right doctors, generally, I would say from my experience, the care can be really good.
Okay, that brings me to the next question about the treatment, probably the cure. Is it curable? Can someone, be cured of this disease permanently? What are available, let's say, healthcare system that's available for this? Is there any such?
There's actually a treatment called bone marrow transplant. Okay. If you ask me how feasible or how accessible that is a different question on its own.
How feasible is it?
Personally, I only know, I think Professor Bazwaye, a former dean of mine, was the first to do sickle cell transplant in Nigeria. I think he had 2 patients. Other than that, I've really not seen any other person do it currently in the country for sickle cell. So, but I do know there is an option of bone marrow transplant. Yes. So I don't know if that answers your question.
Okay. Now, the reason why I'm asking that because some persons feel that there are some kind of medication they can take and get better. Some are living with that thought that there are medication, and even some come up with some, medication and say, oh, if you take this one, you get better. It cures sickle cell and all. So that was what I was asking, if there are any such treatment available.
The treatment available is to support, majorly. Like she has mentioned most of the things, you rehydrate, but what we do is we give things like folic acid to help boost the blood. There are some medications we give to help prevent malaria or reduce the incidence of malaria in them, which they're expected to take almost every day, in addition to what most of the things she said. However, a definite treatment would be to have a bone marrow transplant. It is not a medication. It is a procedure.
Okay.
Yes, that has to be.
Thank you very much. We are going to take a breather here and listen to some Nigerians. Actually, they were asked about their, if they know their genotype and, if they know about this sickle cell disease, as put together by Kemini Williams. Don't go away.
How did you know you should check your genotype?
When I was about getting married, so I was advised to check.
Okay.
So that we don't have an issue of this, what do you call it, this sickle cells or something, danogenesis and all that.
No, you see, this is not all about love. You see, when you're AS, your wife is AS, and then you give birth. you're just going to put that child in pain for the rest of his or her life. Yes, some end up surviving it, but most, even after they must have graduated from university, youth service, some still pass on. I know, close family friends that have passed on even at adult age. So I don't advise it. It is not all about love, no. This is about the child you're bringing into this world, So that's just it. It's not.
Do you know your genotype?
I don't know.
Why?
Because of I don't get time. Since when I marry myself, I don't test my own with my wife before. Yes.
So do you know your wife's genotype?
I don't know myself.
What of your kids? How your kids do? How many kids do you have?
6 children. God gave me 2 twins.
Twins, all
Twins. First 2 guys. After the other one, God can't give me another one again. After the other one, God still give me another twins. Okay. Yes.
So do you advise, do you think it is necessary, for people to know their genotype before getting married?
Say in those days, our father, they don't know those things. They don't know those things. Now this time around, when people, they say that if you won't marry, you must test your genotype with your girlfriend before, you cannot eat before marry. But me, when I marry my wife, I don't know anything against something.
So if your kids now grow up and about to get married, what will you say to them?
You don't say anything against time. Now, when things don't change, you must follow. Yes.
So you advise them to check that?
Yes, let them check.
Back. If you're just joining us, this is Nigeria Today, and we are looking at, we're talking about living with sickle cell disease. We have 2 persons in the studio, the medical doctor and the lady. Now, you had the reaction of the people there. Quite a lot of people back in the days never knew what sickle cell was. As a matter of fact, some people just get married. How important is it for people to know their genotype before getting married?
It is very important because sickle cell is something that affects a whole human being. When I talk of a whole human being, even a family, a totality of the person's life is going to guide the person's life, even the person's ambition. So it also affects people around. If you have a sickle cell child and the child is sick, you're also sick. That's the truth. Because you have to look out for the child, you have to wake up, run and go to hospital and all that. Then there is the danger of losing the child and all that. So, and then the awareness level too has been a bit low, if I might say, for a disease that was discovered in 1904. Yeah, there was a 20-year-old student then in Chicago. I think it was Clement Noah or something. So he had anemia. He visited a doctor, I think that was Dr. Herrick or something. So he referred him to one Dr. Ernest. Then in 1910, that was when he came up with the first article on sickle cell, Dr. Herrick.
Okay, now before you go into all that, I want to find out from you, how were you able to manage the psychological, the emotional, pressure that comes with this disease? I know a lot of persons can't really handle it.
I tell myself that I'm not different from any other person, that I'm a warrior because I'm fighting every day. If I'm not fighting the sickness, I'm fighting the stigma. So if I'm not fighting the stigma, I'm fighting the mind. So that is why I tell myself. So when I want to do something, I go all out and do it. We have some sickle cell patients that are even into sports. Yeah, I have a friend, she's into sports handball. She's also into modeling. But the society and even the parents at times, they try to put this thing in the child's head that you have a limitation. And when you hear some things, most times it sits on the child's distance. So the psychological aspect should even start from the family. So when I'm faced with a situation, I just tell myself that, come on, I can do this. I'm human. And then these people are actually not better than me, because I've had a lot of stigmatizing situations, even in my workplace, when some work will come up and they will just tell you, oh, you can't do it. And at the end of the day, you've done it and you've done it better than the people that they said are AA.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Sandra. Now, Dr. Obi, what are the benefits of early diagnosis and interventions? Because some people get as old as 20 years, 25 years, before they find out they have sickle cell.
Well, the benefits cannot be overemphasized. You know, they say stitch in time saves 9. However, I would like to highlight that not every sickle cell is the same. Some are generally more stable than others. Some may go through majority of their childhood, probably till adulthood, to be told that they had sickle cell. Particularly those with the hemoglobin type SC. You know, we have the SS and the SC. While some from early childhood, it's quite glaring by the age of 6 months. So they have a tougher time. It's difficult to say who is where. So we tend to want to remember that it's really not the same for everyone. So an individualistic approach has to be taken into account here. So if you're quite stable and you're going about your activities, well, it's fine. But early diagnosis is very critical in the sense that it prevents complications.
Okay, yes. Also talk to us about the importance of regular health care and, of course, checkup and, routine checks by these sickle cell patients.
Very important, very important. I would say from my practice, like my experience in the field, those that tend to come for regular checkups tend to do better than those that
How
don't.
regular should they be coming?
Like I said, it depends on the individual on how well they are doing. You know, so if you're quite stable, good blood levels, you're taking your medications, the tendency is we tend to see you less often. So it's not a surprise sometimes you tend to say, okay, come, let's see you every 3 months because you're adherent to your medications. We trust you're going to do the right thing. However, if you see cases where, well, they're having a challenge here or there, or you're beginning to see more complications, you are supposed to come more often. So it's quite based on the individual and what they're presenting with. And what I would like to really advocate for is, for parents usually, try to have a blood specialist called a hematologist to see have one around that your child sees regularly. The tendency is they are the specialists in this field, even if the child is fine. Even if it means every 6 months, just go and do the routine checks and let's be sure they are fine. There's a thing about, oh, I'm fine now. It empowers the child. It empowers the parent. What we do find is most of them abscond, and you only see them in times of crisis. And and
Can
it's
I shed
tough
more light on this?
sometimes.
Okay, so
Can I shed more
what
light
would
on
be your
what he
advice
said?
to people living with this disease?
Disease. Okay, they should just adhere to the things. But sorry, can I shed more light? He said they don't come for their checkups. It's because it's expensive, and the government has not subsidized drugs for sickle cell. It's not like they don't want to come. That's why some of them die. And the society is not supportive. It was only in 2008 that the UN declared this World Sickle Cell Day for something that was discovered in 1904. So they don't think it's important. So we all need to come together and have this voice. Let them know, let the world know that it's expensive, the lifestyle, the food, the medications. That's why some don't come. Some parents, they've not even eaten and they want to come to hospital. Okay, like HIV, they can walk in and get their drugs free. But sickle cell is not like that. And it's serious. It's a very serious condition. That's the truth.
Okay. Thank you very, very much. With that, we'll wrap up today's episode of Nigeria Today. A very big thank you to Eyum Sandra Awudu, President, Founder, Eyum Sickle Cell Anemia Foundation, SCAF. Thank you so much for your time and your contribution.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity.
And also, we had Dr. Uderika Obi William, a medical practitioner. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for being part of the program. Don't forget, Nigeria Today is weekday at 7:30 p.m. on NTA News 24. You can also check out this episode and others on www.youtube.com/NTA News 24 Hub. I am your carrier, Clinton. Goodbye.